live. Look at that, we're live. You know what? I also forgot to put on the lights in the office. Let's do the gamer lights since we're gamers today. Gamer lights. Everybody loves gamer lights. Oh, man. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream today. Today's stream is brought to you by... man, what is today's stream brought to you by? You know what? Today's stream is brought to you by interesting stories that are just for you. Sometimes you do a thing, right? And you're like, man, I could post that thing and it would be so cool and everybody would think it's so cool. But sometimes you just gotta have things for you, like you and no one else. Sometimes it's just yours. It's kind of like how I deal with these streams, right? Like not a lot of people watch, right? And that's totally fine because I do it for me. You know, I do it for obviously the hospital, but like most of the time I do this for me. So yeah, that's the way it goes. What are we doing today? We're gonna do 3 things today. We gotta do 2 things. 2 things. There you go. 2 things before we do video games. And I don't know how long we'll be doing video games for until I feel like I want to stop. But we're gonna do 2 things today. To start with, first of all, I gotta pull this up on my phone. And I should probably pull the other thing up on the screen. Okay. Oh man, how long ago did this happen? Oh no, I thought it was the 17th. There we go. Cool. That's that. And then I need to go to that one. We're gonna hit this button. And we're going to do this thing. There we go. Oh, come on, phone. You know it's me. I know this is riveting, right? Riveting information here. Yes. What? No. No. That's not how that works. God damn it. Why did things ever log you out of the website? Should never log you out of a website. Except for your bank. Should be logged out of your bank. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. My housemate is leaving for their movie. There we go. Dope. This is a real lead up right here to something, I swear. Um oh my god. See, this is why you always have things prepped beforehand so you're not just on your phone faffing about. I'm gonna do that, and there we go. All right. Oh man, what a day! What a day, though. Like, oh wow, today it was hot. Like, no joke. Today was really hot. We're drinking a little bit today, just because it's Friday, and yeah. What's the second thing we're doing? Well, as you can see, the title for the stream today is my brother. What? Say what? Okay, well, I'm not happy about what just happened there. I guess that all of the okay, I'll have to fix that. But yes, we got a Twitch payout this month, and we are donating it to the charity. So, $148.43, all donated. Great job, team. Thank you very much for all your support. It's been a wild ride, with me working more and streaming a little bit less. It's just been. I'm trying to keep up the content. I'm trying to keep up the fun stuff, and I hope Extra Life is going to be super special, awesome this year. I'm going to work. I'm going to start planning it very soon, like 2 weeks out. Start planning for December. It'll probably be second weekend of December. I'll have that date solidified soon. But yeah, again, thank you everybody for your continued support for the cause. It's really cool, and we're all in it together, and I really appreciate it. The second thing we're doing, and what fucked up was that it said that you're all heroes, is what it said. But I guess the alerts don't actually come through. I guess I never really thought about the alerts coming through. I'll need to fix that at some point. But what else are we doing today? My brother made a list. He made a list. My brother does this thing where he makes these tournaments via Instagram, and since he has like 60,000 followers on Instagram, they get a lot of work. There's sometimes there are art ones and music ones and movie ones and superhero ones, and he's got a long list of them. And this one is particularly special because he actually asked me to help him make it. And so of course I couldn't help myself but to help him, right? Like I do. But this one's a little special because it's video games. He is doing the top 164 video games as a tournament, like a bracket. And again, he asked me to help him, and I thought that was really cool of him. I mean, he could have gone anywhere. He could have gone to any multiple website to, to find his list, but we're here now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through this list one at a time. We're gonna make some, I'm gonna make calls on which one in the brackets that I think should succeed, and we'll continue to monitor this as it goes on. Hopefully my brother will keep updating me, and so we can monitor this. I think I might actually make this into a highlight this entire section, because I think that this is really cool and really interesting. And who knows, maybe I will get blown away by who wins number one, because I have a strong feeling that I know out of the 4 games which one will win. But without further ado, let's get started. I thought we'd throw on some nice music. I figured we'd just throw on some music. Okay. And let's get started. Let's see, how do I want to do this? I think it's this one. Okay. Do we need me in the corner? Maybe we need me in the corner. Video capture. Cam link. We don't need me like that. And then I'll just... Oh, nope, that's not what I wanted. Resize it. Okay, there we go. So let's get started. What are we starting with? 164 games. Again, this is all, you can find this entire thing on his Instagram stories, which I will link in chat. And you too can vote on it as you will as well. Oh. Spoiler alerts. And we're going to pause, of course. All right. L'chaim. Game number 1. Important. This was the most requested tournament requested by... Okay. Requested by you guys. It was like 80% of 170 people who commented on my last poll for suggestions. Okay, so this tournament is much longer than others because there was some that I couldn't leave out. Keep in mind, I'm not the greatest gamer past the N64. So there's definitely a handful of old school games, but I did throw in a bunch of new ones. Now, here's the thing. Some of them are broken apart, while games in the series are listed like Mortal Kombat series. If there is a Mortal Kombat game that you like more than its rival, pick that one. Then later I'll break them apart. Now, I wish that he had mentioned that I had helped him. He could have been like, keep in mind I'm not the greatest gamer past N64. However, my brother, who streams on Twitch on a daily basis, is a gamer who has helped me with this list. So, whatever. I'm not sour. Let's go. Okay, so Ocarina of Time versus Majora's Mask. I actually don't like Majora's Mask and have never liked Majora's Mask, so Ocarina of Time. Does it... Can I not vote? Excuse me? I don't think I can vote. Is that... How does... Can I not vote? Am I not... Is it because I'm not logged in? No, I'm logged in. I guess I have no idea how to vote, so I would go Ocarina of Time for this one. Breath of the Wild versus Link to the Past. You know, Breath of the Wild has been one of the highest rated games of almost all time in Metacritic. And Link to the Past is like the start of where Zelda got its kind of... Obviously, Link to the Past is the remake of the original Zelda. But or not original, but, you know, later on Zelda. But Breath of the Wild really redefined the series as a whole, and a lot of games tried to base themselves off of Breath of the Wild after Breath of the Wild came out. So this one's hard, but I would go with Breath of the Wild. Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 1 versus Pro Skater 2. Well, Pro Skater 1, it's got Goldfinger in it. I don't think that's I don't think that's a contest. Tony Hawk's Underground versus Skate. Skate is just the Skate series, and Skate 3 in particular was one of the like crowning achievements for skating games. And so I would go with Skate because, again, like the build your own park is a really big thing. So Tony Hawk Underground also has the same thing and has the ability to get off the board and stuff. But I think Skate just took it to an entirely new level, especially Skate 3. GTA 3 versus GTA 4. Well, GTA 4 also redefined the series. Do I really have to just... I guess I can't. I don't know. GTA 4 also redefined the series. And even though GTA 3 was like the thing that made it 3D, the story in GTA 4 and the things that they thrust you into were a lot more dynamic. Even though the cars were so bad. I mean, like, so bad. It's a little better, I think, for music, yeah. Yeah, I thought the car play was so bad. GTA Vice City versus San Andreas. Well, Vice City is actually my favorite GTA of all time. But if I had to pick between the two, it'd probably be San Andreas. San Andreas added a lot more to the series than Vice City did. So we go with San Andreas. Or I would go with San Andreas. GTA 5 versus LA Noire. Now, LA Noire was special because the mocap in LA Noire was like the big thing. And also, I live in LA, and you can actually drive up my street in LA Noire. However... Oh, okay. Well, I didn't realize they were tethered. That's fine. However, GTA 5 has been, again, another massively influential game in the gaming universe right now. With the addition of GTA Online, which I would lump in with GTA 5, like it's GTA 5 Online. That's a pretty big deal. So I would go with GTA 5 for this one, as much as I liked LA Noire. The Soul Calibur series versus the Tekken series. I'm biased in this one. I like Soul Calibur. Talim. God damn it. Talim is actually my favorite fighting hero in any fighting game. I'm pretty sure she's down here, right there. But Tekken has always been huge in the fighting communities, right? Fighting games and fighting communities. So if we're talking about which one is actually better as a game and which one is actually more likely to win, it'd probably be Tekken. So Dragon Ball Z Fighters versus Street Fighter series. Well, again, like this is hard because Dragon Ball Z Fighters is really good right now. It's a really good game. The pros really love it. But Street Fighter as a series, like Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 5, huge titles. Huge. You can't talk about fighting games without talking about Street Fighter in some way. And with Street Fighter 6 coming out, looking like it's going to definitely be like a big hit, I would go with the Street Fighter series here. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 versus Injustice. Well, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is just so iconic, is the word I would use. And Injustice is great and all, but Marvel vs. Capcom 2 takes this one, like, actually easily. Plus, you can play Dan Hibiki. When everybody likes Dan Hibiki. Dead or Alive versus the Mortal Kombat series. I love that he used the picture of Dead or Alive with all the girls in it. Again, this is also kind of like an easy sell for me because while Dead or Alive had a lot of sway on the PS2, Mortal Kombat is not only is more well renowned, has far more games in the saga, has more developments in the saga. Also, Mortal Kombat series has 3D games as well. That's not just beach volleyball and stuff. And Mortal Kombat was actually the first game that video game violence was actually talked about back in the day. They used to use the images of what were they? They were images of the like spine rip for Sub-Zero, that spine rip. Like, they would use that on TV to show just how violent video games are, and that was the twist that spurred a lot of parents against video games. Smash Bros versus Smash Bros Melee. Smash Bros Melee is just better. It's just a better game than Smash Bros, right? Like, more characters, more abilities, more stuff, more levels. You know, everything about Melee made Smash Brothers better. And the competitive scene, you don't see regular Smash Brothers. You see Melee. You see Melee and Smash 4, or Smash Ultimate now. So, and I played Smash Brothers Melee like semi-competitively. But which is why I have this Peach jacket. If you ever wanted to know why I have a pink jacket on the back of my chair, this is a Princess Peach jacket. Now, I only got this a handful of years ago, but when I played Melee professionally, or semi-professionally, I played as Peach. She was my character. It was first the Ice Climbers, then Roy, then Peach. And so Peach was like my main when I was in the height of my prime. But yeah, so I'll give this one to Melee. Smash Bros. Brawl versus Smash Bros. Ultimate. Well, I didn't think Brawl was very good, actually. So, and Ultimate is good. And every character that has ever been in a game is in Ultimate. There's no, like, ifs, ands, or buts about it. And who doesn't want to play, like, Sora and all the new characters, like Minecraft Steve and stuff like that? Like, yeah, they're gimmicky and stuff, and some of them are major gimmicks, but who doesn't want to play those things, right? Like, how cool is that? So, Ultimate. Warcraft versus StarCraft. This is a hard one for me, because but you know, I don't do Blizzard no more. But I've always been a StarCraft fanboy. Like, I love me some original StarCraft and Brood War, and even StarCraft 2, like Heart of the Swarm, was really good. Warcraft's good, but Warcraft is right now, it's like really dated. And yeah. However, I will say the hero system in Warcraft is way better than the hero system in StarCraft. The ability to get my hero back when he dies is too instrumental. Like, yeah, it's too important. So I give this one to StarCraft. Mario Kart 64 versus Mario Kart 8. Well, again, this is like another thing about, like, what are people playing? What is the most bought game out of these two, right? Mario Kart 8 is definitely by far the most purchased game out of these two. Mario Kart 64, we all love it. It's got great nostalgia. But Mario Kart 8 is the prime Mario Kart game out of any Mario Kart series, like in any of the Mario Kart series. And even I, as one who hates Mario Kart 8 because I suck, understands that. All right. So yeah, Mario Kart 64 versus Mario Kart 8. I think it's an easy pick for Mario Kart 8. As much as I love 64, the one thing in Mario Kart 8 that I don't like is the battle mode. 64 has battle mode down pat. Mario 64 versus Mario Odyssey. Now, we say a lot of things about like games being new and having new stuff to the table and stuff, but there are always things that start those off. And Mario Odyssey was great. Mario 64 also great, but in terms of being a brand new game that brought a lot to the table, Mario 64 is just amazing. It's still good today. Like, still good. Still feels good. Maybe some of the, like, flowy, fluttery movement controls about, like, you know, stopping on a dime, maybe they don't feel so good anymore. But in general, 90% of the game feels good. Now, Mario Odyssey is, like, an amazing title with a lot of replayability and a lot of things to get and a lot of time you can sink into Mario Odyssey, but I think Mario 64 is just it's just too instrumental to gaming today. Mario Party 1 versus Mario Party 2. Contrary to popular belief, Mario Party 2 is better. I love all the maps in Mario Party 2. I love that you can get a hat or an outfit between whatever map you're in. I think that that's so cool. The amount of mini games as well, the mini game mode. You're agreeing with all my choices so far, though you would pick Vice City. You'd pick Vice City over San Andreas. And Super Mario 64 speedruns are better than Odyssey. So the thing about Odyssey is that it's so big, right? So it's got what, like almost 1,000 moons that you can pick up in. I think it's got 700 moons. Is it 700 moons? I think it's 700. I think it's got 700 moons. It's got 700 moons that you can pick up, right? And so speedrunners, like, their goal is to, like, find out which moons are faster than other moons, which is fascinating. And they didn't have to deal with that as much in Super Mario 64, but 64 is so fucking broken. That game is so broken. You can, like, backwards jump up a staircase. There are people that play that game blindfolded. Super Mario 64 runs are so cool. Like, so cool. I'm gonna actually do this. I'm gonna make me a little bigger since I'm chatting. But if you ever do, like, I know that they're long, but if you ever get to watch a 100% speedrun of Super Mario Sunshine. Speaking of which, Super Mario Sunshine is my favorite of the 3D Mario games. It's just, I know it's not a traditional Mario game, but it is my favorite. But yeah. So Mario Party 1 versus Mario Party 2. I like Mario Party 2 better. It's just better in every way. It's just more enjoyable in every way. Mario Party 1 is fun. And I really do like the maps and stuff, but Mario Party 2 is just better. Super Mario Galaxy versus Super Mario Sunshine. This is hard. Again, Super Mario Sunshine is my favorite. But I've also never played Galaxy. I shouldn't say never. I've played like 4 or 5 hours of Galaxy. I always meant to go back and finish it. And maybe I will one day on stream. I think that would be a lot of fun to play through Super Mario Galaxy on stream. It just looks like a great time. But Super Mario Sunshine, like, really captivated me for the GameCube. And it was a large part of my life. Because it took me so long to finish. And I never finished with all of the Shine Sprites. Like, hard, like, right? But I give this one to Super Mario Sunshine. Even though, like, Galaxy brought in 2-player mode. One of you played, like, Limu, and one of you played Mario, so. Super Mario Sunshine. Super Mario Brothers versus Super Mario Brothers 2. Now, that's really hard for me as well, because Super Mario Brothers 2 is my favorite side-scrolling one. Even though, fun fact for everybody, Super Mario Brothers 2 was actually not designed to be a Mario game. It was actually designed to be a different game. However, was it Miyamoto? I think Miyamoto saw it, and he was like, hey, that game's dope. Can we slap Mario in there? Can we put Mario and Mario's friends and all the enemies? Like, I mean, I think they even kept all the enemies in it. All the regular enemies. That's why there's so little of, like, Koopa Troopas or Goombas and stuff. Like, they're all different enemies. Is because it was made specifically to be a different game that they threw Mario into. So I think that's great. Original Super Mario Brothers, I mean, that's so cool. Yeah, Super Mario the Fever Dream. 100%. 100%. I mean, you're throwing, like... What are you doing? You're throwing, like eggs into the mouths of a door frame. And you have a rocket ship that flies in the air, like all that stuff. Yeah, I love Super Mario Brothers too. Yeah, the original Mario Brothers, it's hard because like the original Mario Brothers is like, yeah, turnips and radishes as main weapons, like right, like it was not a thing at that time because again the first one was only Super Mario Brothers 1. You know, even though Super Mario Bros. 2 is my favorite, it is not your traditional Mario game. And Super Mario Bros. 1 not only had the 2-player mode, but also had the level skips and all that stuff. So I'm going to go with Super Mario Bros. 1 over 2. Super Mario Bros. 3 over Super Mario Land. Well, as much as I love Game Boy games, they don't hold up. And as much as I love Super Mario Land, it's just not Super Mario Bros. 3. Super Mario Bros. 3 just introduced too many things into the game. Too many important things that continued throughout the rest of the system, like throughout the rest of the Mario Bros. Series, especially any 2D one. So yeah, I'm going to go with Super Mario Bros. 3 here. Perfect Dark versus GoldenEye. I have a soft spot for GoldenEye. I love GoldenEye. Perfect Dark's a great game, but GoldenEye is like they're even remaking it now. Like they're gonna have it on the Switch. They're gonna have it on the Xbox. They're gonna have it on the PC. Like GoldenEye, slappers only, or like mines only. Like all of that stuff is so good. Can't downplay GoldenEye. Now, Perfect Dark had a multiplayer mode too, with a gun that shot through walls. But GoldenEye, I mean, it's fucking Bond, right? Come on. Super Metroid versus Metroid Prime. This is also hard for me because I've actually never finished Super Metroid. That game, when I played it, was way too hard for me. I could probably finish it now just because I have so much more under my belt. In terms of like platformers and stuff. But Metroid Prime is again another special thing for me because I actually bought my GameCube specifically to play Metroid Prime 2. Also, you know, Smash and Mario Kart and Double Dash and the rest of that. But the Metroid Prime series is like, I am so hyped for Metroid Prime 4. And if they ever put the Metroid Prime series out on the Switch, I'm immediately going to buy it and play it on stream. Like, I'll play through every single one of them on stream. And Metroid Prime 2 is, again, like, my favorite of the series. So, as much as I love Super Metroid, like, if he had replaced Super Metroid with either Metroid Fusion or what's the other one? I don't remember the other one. But, yeah, then it would be a harder sell for me. But I'd go with Metroid Prime. Halo Reach versus Halo 3. This is very difficult. I love both games. I played both games to oblivion. I played both games online. I sunk probably hundreds and hundreds of hours into both of them. I just recently on stream with my friends beat both of them. So this one's really hard, like really tough. Which one's more renowned? Probably Halo Reach. It brought a lot to the table. But Halo 3 was like the end of a saga, right? Halo 3 was like the culmination of two other games into this one game where you come back to Earth and you have these epic fights, and they add these giant scarabs that like are not just like, they're like actual enemies on the map. Um, I have to go with Halo 3 on this one. As much as I love Reach, and it's weird because if I was talking about multiplayer and multiplayer only, it'd be Halo Reach by far, by a landslide. We're talking about the whole game as a whole. Halo 3 had Forge mode. Halo 3 had online. It also had those maps. It had the dumb second disc that they came out with so that you could download the maps on your Xbox. That's fucking dumb, by the way. Don't ever do that. Please don't ever do that again. I'm gonna go with Halo 3. Gears of War 1 versus Gears of War 2. Gears of War 2 is actually my favorite of the series. It's just a lot bigger scale, a lot more like the story mattered, I felt. Gears of War 1, obviously, like I'm a huge Gears of War fanboy. I have in my office back there, you can see, I don't know if you can see it right there. I have the Lancer, like a replica Lancer. And I have bought every collector's edition of Gears of War games since 2. And I bought the vinyls and everything like that for the games. So I love Gears of War. I was actually ranked, countrywide ranked in Gears of War 3. Sorry, not Gears of War 3. Was it Gears 2? Had to have been Gears 2. Yeah, Gears 2. Because Gears 2 came out with Horde mode. I'm giving it to Gears 2, by the way. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered versus Black Ops. Well, if it is, I'm guessing that this is the Black Ops series. Because when I talked to him, I specifically told him to put Black Ops 2. And he put Black Ops. I'm going to assume it's the series. Now, for story, the Black Ops series is trash. It doesn't make any sense. No, zero clue. Zero sense. Modern Warfare, has a better story, in my opinion. A better set pieces, better story. Black Ops has better multiplayer and better zombies. I mean, Modern Warfare didn't even have zombies, right? Didn't have zombies at all. Now, again, this is really tough for me because, my friends played zombies and my friends played the multiplayer for Modern Warfare. But I think I would go with Modern Warfare. Just the scope of that game was just better, I think. And also, everybody loves the combination of Commando Pro and Marathon Runner. So you run, you sprint. Black Ops is purely because of the Zombinis. Zombinis and multiplayer, think about the amount of people that we sold Black Ops to, at GameStop. And it had already been years and years since the game came out, right? But people wanted to play that multiplayer. People wanted that multiplayer. That's exactly what they're getting now with Warzone. It's just Black Ops multiplayer, but grander scale. But honestly, I would go with Modern Warfare as a series instead of Black Ops as a series. But that's just me. Fortnite versus League of Legends. I don't play either. But if I had to pick which one is more likely to win this tournament, Also, he spelt Legends wrong. He spelled Legends wrong, and it's right there. It's right there, man. You spelled Legends wrong, and it's right there. What are you doing, my dude? What are you doing? Now Fortnite has defined this generation, the generation that's playing right now. Fortnite has done a lot of things that are influential for the video game ecosystem. Yeah, it's very much the metaverse of gaming. It's got anywhere from Naruto and Goku all the way to other video games like Master Chief is in there, right? But then you also get real people, like Ninja is in the game, and not ProZD, what's his name? He just got in there, not XQC, Cypher DX or something like that. He just got in the game. Like humans, like real humans are becoming immortalized in this game. It's huge, right? League of Legends is the #1 most money-making game on planet Earth when it comes to professional pool, right? More people make money on League of Legends than they do of any other game out there. And League of Legends has also defined a lot of other MOBAs. Like sure, Dota started the MOBA, but League of Legends was the one that really got a running start, and has not stopped running. Think about the amount of people that play League of Legends on stream. Think about the amount of teams there are for League of Legends worldwide. The documentary that's literally about League of Legends, the global championship, like League of Legends is huge. So if I were to pick whichever one would win this tournament, like win greatest game of all time, it'd probably be League of Legends. So Overwatch versus Valorant. Valorant's big right now. It's picked up huge, and Overwatch has been petering out because Overwatch 2 is on the horizon and everything. But Overwatch really started this trend of hero shooter, where every character you play as has a different gun, has a different kit, I mean, Overwatch essentially made Valorant, right? Valorant is the baby of Overwatch and Riot, right? They play. Riot was like, we can do that, and so they did, right? Just like Gundam Evolution that's out right now, like they were like, we could do that, and they did. But Overwatch has like really. Overwatch started a lot of things, so I'm gonna give this to Overwatch as much as I really don't want to give any Blizzard game recognition right now. Overwatch would definitely, I think, win over Valorant. Yeah. Rocket League versus Apex Legends. Again, these are two games my brother doesn't eat. He asked me when I told him these two games. He was like, I've never heard of those before. I'm like, of course you haven't heard of those. You don't know video games. Like, you think that Space Station Silicon Valley belongs on this list. Does anybody even know what that is but you and me? Like, no one knows what that is. But yeah, so I mean, I gave him these two, Rocket League and Apex. Apex is, again, like another game that has defined like what's going on right now. Apex, a lot of people who don't like Fortnite go to Apex to play, right? And Apex is another, like, again, version of the hero shooter where every character has their own ability, which is kind of cool, like in the grand scheme of things. And Rocket League is just like Rocket League's its own thing. Rocket League has never shared the spotlight with anybody. It's just Rocket League. Nobody's playing games that are like Rocket League. Nobody switches from Rocket League to something else. Rocket League has leagues, right? If I were to pick between these two about like what would win, I'd probably go with Rocket League. Now, I really don't think Rocket League's going to beat out games like Breath of the Wild or Skyrim or, you know, stuff like that. Like, I don't think that's like going to happen, but I would pick Rocket League over these two. Civilization versus Age of Empires. These are just two very it's funny. They're very similar in the world scope that they are, but they're very different in terms of how you play, right? Civilization is turn-based. You take your turn, and then they take their turn, or you take your turns together. And Age of Empires is an RTS. So this is what I told my brother, was like, in these initial rounds, you need to pick games that are like each other. Like this doesn't make sense. This should have been Apex Legends and Fortnite. That's what that should have been. League of Legends should have gone up against, again, like Dota. Like, that's what it should have. Also, he spelled it wrong. Getting me. But he didn't listen to me, which is fine. He doesn't have to listen to me. This is his thing. But between Civ and Age of Empires, Rocket League versus Super Mario Strikers. Exactly. I don't think Super Mario Strikers, by the way, is on this list, sadly. I don't think so. But like, it should have been Rocket League versus like Fall Guys. Like that, it's similar in scope type thing, you know? But Civilization versus Age of Empires, it's hard. Like, Age of Empires was a good RTS back in the day, and Civilization right now is like pretty big. A lot of people play Civ in like these giant AI games or giant like world spawning games. If I were picked between the two, I'd probably give it to Civ, honestly. It's just, as we're talking about series and series alone, like Age of Empires has been absent for so long, and Civ has always been growing, always gets better, always has. Even if you like enjoy Civ 5, Civ 6, learning curve's huge. It's just that way, right? So we'll give it to Civ. Roller Coaster Tycoon series versus Sim series. Well, as much as Roller Coaster Tycoon is like has my heart a little bit, because that's what I used to play when I was in middle school and high school, Sims is just too big. Sims and its player base and its fan base and the things that you can do in it is just too big. Sims would win. Now, again, if I were to pit stuff against like Roller Coaster Tycoon to give it a chance, I'd say Sim City, right? Sim City, Roller Coaster Tycoon, they're both city building or, whatever it is. I don't know who I would pit Sims against, because Sims, again, is its own thing. It's always been its own thing, so. But I'd go Sims here. Defender versus Space Invaders. Well, Space Invaders is the game that everybody knows. People don't know in Defender, right? I know Defender because I've done research in old classic video games when I was younger. But like, people don't know those things. But in terms of old classics, Space Invaders, I probably would have put this against like Centipede or Millipede. Snake, I love this because I recommended both of these titles thinking it was funny, right? But honestly, so many people know Snake and Oregon Trail. So many people know them. And Snake is simplistic but hard, right? And Oregon Trail is hard. It is complex and also hard. So it's a difference between two difficult games that get progressively harder as you go through them, right? There are so many iterations of Snake out there now, like so many iterations. But Oregon Trail is just so like classic. I don't know. I would go Oregon Trail on this one, which probably is not the right call. Probably more people will pick Snake over Oregon Trail, but I would go Oregon Trail as a better game. Tetris versus Pong. Hard because both are icons. I know. And again, I was the one that like helped him with this roster, and so I've pit myself into a corner picking between things like Tetris and Pong. Tetris, by the way. Tetris, the hands down. People don't play Pong. Pong, great, right? Pong, the first quote-unquote video game. Pong against another player. First two-player video game. Pong against an AI. AI can't lose because it just wins. But Tetris is just like, movies have been made about Tetris and competitions have been made against Tetris, and when people talk about the classics, Tetris, what is the most bought game of all time on every console combined? It's Tetris. Tetris has been purchased more times than any other game ever. Now, it's not the most selling video game the most money earning video game because it's cheap. You buy it for $3 on your phone, right? But think about all the phones you've had and how many times you bought Tetris on your phone. How many times have you got Tetris on a console and can't transfer it to another console? Tetris, right? Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow versus Pokemon Black and White. Again, this was another one that I set up. Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow is just so instrumental to the way I play video games today. a lot of the things that I do in games that are like weird quirks, like grinding in video games and stuff, that's all from Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. I've gotten that all from Red, Blue, and Yellow. Now, Black and White had a lot of cool, like, game-changing stuff. I'm pretty sure Black and White was the first one with dual battles and, like, rain effects and those things that affect, like, your Pokemon. But Red, Blue, and Yellow is just so... Again, another, like, iconic trio. Speaking of which, I had Pokemon Red. However, my Pokemon of choice was Bulbasaur. Pokemon of choice was Bulbasaur. In Japan, by the way, they got green and blue, and we got red because red was more marketable to the U.S., seeing as it's not like it's more like dragons are cool, right? And in Japan, they had, you know, like I imagine America like them seeing, you know, a plant boy, like just a plant, like Venusaur, Venusaur on like the front of a box. Like, it's not marketable, right? So Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, by the way. Guitar Hero series versus Rock Band series. Well, Guitar Hero had better songs than Rock Band, in my opinion, but Rock Band had the whole kit. Like, you didn't get a drum kit until Guitar Hero, or sorry, until Rock Band came around. Like, nobody even thought about having a mic or a drum kit, right? And Rock Band was the thing that you got your friends to come and visit, like, and play with you. And Guitar Hero was mostly like a solo thing. Like, you played alone, you got really good, you know, like, yeah. In terms of series, though, I always thought that Guitar Hero had better songs than Rock Band. And Guitar Hero, I don't know, they had Guitar Hero, like, Aerosmith and Green Day and stuff. Rock Band had and guitar, what was it? Was it Beatles? No, it was Beatles Rock Band. Beatles Rock Band, that's what it was. Rock Band had Beatles. And I mean, even like Guitar Hero in the end of the day, like, also had DLC where you could download a shit ton of songs and user created songs that were all definitely not on TOS, and all copyright, but you could just pick them. I'd have to give this to the Guitar Hero series, I think, as it like revolutionized like the music genre. Not to say that it's the best music game, because I would give that to DDR, to be honest with you. But yeah, Guitar Hero. Beat Saber over both, man. I swear, I want to get a VR unit so bad so I can play Beat Saber and Pistol Whip and what's the other one that's really good? I think it's called Groove Jams or something like that. Guitar Hero for the DS with the little, it had the little keys on the side. You like plugged in your little thing and it had the little keys on the side. It was great. Whew. I almost knocked over my beer. Batman Arkham City versus Arkham Asylum. Arkham City is my favorite of the entire like quadrilogy. Just because of its openness, the fact that you can really go anywhere, but things weren't really unlocked until you got specific stuff. And Arkham Asylum always felt super closed in space, but that's where it got its like scare factor from. Is you're always in these like tight knit corridors and you know, with like vents on either side, and guys can come out of those vents and stuff. And Arkham City wasn't scary, but it was good. Also, like, the twist that Arkham City gives you is pretty great. And I think that if I were to replay any of these, it would probably be Arkham City. So I'm going to go with Arkham City. Resident Evil 1 versus Resident Evil 2. Well, Resident Evil 1, right? Like, I'm going to say one line and we're going to move on. You almost became a Jill sandwich. Yep. It's not Chris's blood. Resident Evil 4 versus Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 was a big, like, again, both of these games are influential in the type, in the series in general, because Resident Evil 4 was when the game transitioned from a static camera view or fixed camera to a third-person camera. I love how he also picked the now in HD one, which is amazing. Just absolutely amazing. And Resident Evil 7 was where the game switched from a third-person view all the way to a first-person view, and actually made the game very scary. My only qualm with Resident Evil 7 is that the final portion of the game is not Resident Evil. It's just not. And it's not scary, and it's not fun. And it's just like a slog. You're just like, you get to this really crucial fight, and then the game just peters off. And Resident Evil 4, in my opinion, doesn't do that at all. Not at all. The villains are intriguing and engaging, and they're always up to no good. And but the one thing that sucks about Resident Evil 4 is that it's a freaking escort mission. The whole game is an escort mission. But you go, bitch, dumpster. And then it's no longer an escort mission. You just put that bitch in a dumpster and you're good to go. Resident Evil 4. The Dead Space series versus Silent Hill. Now, I hate the Silent Hill games. I don't like them. They're not fun for me. They're not enjoyable at all. Character design's not good. The gameplay's not good. I have never enjoyed a single Silent Hill game. And I love Dead Space. Dead Space 2 is actually my favorite, which is why I think he put that, because he remembered me saying it. Dead Space 2 is my favorite of the series. I'm really excited for the new one that they're coming out with. I'm really excited for Callisto Protocol that they're coming out with at the end of this year. But I know for a fact, if these two were at the top of the list, which one would win? It'd be Silent Hill. It's another iconic series that a lot of people got latched onto, that people enjoyed, and maybe it's just not for me, but it was for them. And so I can understand that Silent Hill would win. So I will be picking Silent Hill for this one. But I love Dead Space. I mean, I love Dead Space so much. I even have a replica of the gun, of the laser gun. By the way, Silent Hill movies were so bad. So bad. They like ripped the skin off this woman as the worst CGI you've ever seen. Kingdom Hearts 1 versus Kingdom Hearts 2. This is another hard one, because this is actually a really hard contention one. And I love that Kingdom Hearts 3 is not on this list, because that game's a piece of shit. Kingdom Hearts 1 started the series off really, really strong. Had really cool places to see. The gameplay was not refined, like wildly refined, but honestly, that's what made it hard, right? Some of the boss fights were actually tough because the gameplay was not you had a block, but it wasn't like a good block, and you had a dodge roll, but it was like a really original Demon Souls-esque dodge roll. It was just not good. But again, that's what made it hard. Kingdom Hearts 2 is an amazing title. Amazing title. Has my favorite character in all Kingdom Hearts, was Roxas. And it has a really heavy-hitting moments, like Goofy dying, right? That's a huge moment. I mean, everybody was sad. I don't remember a single person on planet fucking Earth that wasn't sad when Goofy got turned into a rock, right? Like how sad is that, right? And the boss battles were super big and grandiose, and the combat was fluid and felt good. And the only thing bad about the game, in my opinion, were a handful of boss fights at the very end, which were just tedious. Like the 13, Organization 13. All those boss fights they're just tedious fights that not particularly fun. But I mean, they're gimmicky fights, and sometimes that's just it. But Kingdom Hearts 2 has my vote for this one. The Fallout series versus the BioShock series. You can't pit my babies together, okay? I told him not to do this. Why did he do this? You can't pit my babies together. BioShock has a big place in my heart because I bought a 360 specifically for BioShock. I asked my father, by the way, who hates video games, I said, hey, I want to buy a 360. And he said, okay, save up money. So I saved up money. And I told him, hey, Dad, I want to buy a game on there. But it's rated M, which means I can't buy it because I'm, 16. Or what was I? I think I was 16. 16 or 17, I think. But I wasn't old enough to buy it. And I said, hey, Dad, this game came out. And I've been really, really wanting to play it. And it looks really cool. Now, it is violent. Don't get me wrong, Dad. It's violent. But it's good. And then his wife was like, I love how I have anecdotes for like all of these. His wife was like, is it you killing humans? And I said, not really. It's not really. They're not really humans. Not really anymore. I mean, they are humans, but I said they were humanoid, not human though. And he offered to buy it for me. How cool, right? So when I say buy it for me, I mean like I gave him my money and he gave it over the counter and purchased it. But yeah, BioShock has a big like hole, like for me, like BioShock's like deep in my heart. BioShock 1 will always be in my top 10 games of all time. Like I will make room for it to be in that way. And Fallout's hard too because Fallout 3 I spent probably 400-500 hours playing. Fallout New Vegas has like one of the best DLCs I've ever played in my entire life. Fallout 4 was a big part of my life because it was when I worked at GameStop, it was the like I ran that midnight launch. I even had like games and stuff and polls to put up, and like that's a big part in my life. But if we're talking about like games that are influential for like stuff, I put BioShock. Now, I don't know why he did this, because I told him specifically to put the Fallout series versus the Oblivion series. And he didn't listen to me, because these two are different fucking games. They're different games. If I have to pick one, I'd pick BioShock. Don't do that, man. Don't do that right now. Murdoch, don't do that. No. You don't get to do that. Fallout 76. My man, you can't even see it. But on the bottom of this stack over here is a collector's edition for Fallout 76 with a giant helmet. I put that game in my console. I played for a half hour. It broke. I put it back in the box. I put it back in there, and I never touched it again. Never touched it again. And I'll continue to never touch it again. Especially because now they are charging... I think they're charging $90 for their like premium service where you can get your own server. $90 fucking dollars for a game I already paid. Like, I paid for it. It's not free to play. Insane. Never do that again. Never do that again. But yeah, this goes to BioShock for me. Bomberman 64 versus Bomberman GBA. This is a thing where my brother was like, I gotta put these games in there. I love these games. I know they have no shot to win, but I have to put these games in there. I'm like, nobody, again, like, you and me, man, are the only one that know a fucking Bomberman GBA. Like, GB, like. Because we owned it, right? We owned it. And it was hard, by the way. I mean, that game was hard. I think I beat it, like, 2 or 3 times. But Bomberman 64, I love Bomberman 64. I love that game. That's a game like we had my friends over and we freaking play the multiplayer mode, and we would even like switch off controllers and see like who would get as far in one life. I'd go Bomberman 64, but like why? Like you can't say a greatest list of all time if you put Bomberman GB in here. Like what? Like, put another 64 game in here. Like, there's plenty of 64 games. Put those in there. You don't need to make them both Bomberman. Final Fantasy 7 versus Final Fantasy 10. Now, he did a bad thing. He put the picture for Final Fantasy 7 Remake in here. But he typed in Final Fantasy 7 here. I don't think my brother understands the difference between the two. because there is a huge difference in gameplay. 2 different games. Same story, 2 different games. I'm going to assume, because this is what I said to him when I talked to him about this, was I'm assume that he's talking about the original Final Fantasy VII, not Final Fantasy VII Remake. But he used the picture because it looks pretty, right? Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy X are big games in the series. They're all it's contested, right? It is a tough choice. A tough choice that I would agree with. Final Fantasy VII, classic. I would pick over Final Fantasy X, even though I actually like Final Fantasy X's level up system better. The level up system is way better, and I really also like the abilities that you have in Final Fantasy X as opposed to 7. But 7 is too much, is like too influential to games. Yeah, and being fully voiced is also like a big deal. Even though some of the voice acting is trash. It's like not good. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. It's not good. Now, Final Fantasy VII, here's a little anecdote about Final Fantasy VII. Is my friend Troy his favorite game of all time? And then also, Final Fantasy VII was the game where I grinded the most at the start of the video game. I played at the very beginning of the game, like, you have a cutscene, a really cool cutscene that shows you Midgar and everything, and then zooms into a train, and Cloud is on top of the train, and then boom, it hits you into the polygons. And then the polygon Cloud does a backflip off the train onto the floor. Now, in this area, you can fight 2 sets of enemies. You can either fight 3 soldiers, or you can fight 1 soldier and 1 mech. And I was there for, must have been, I think, 22 hours or something like that, just farming those enemies. I got every single limit break that Cloud and Barret could get at that time. I don't think Tifa's with you at that time. I think it's just Cloud and Barret. I got every single limit break that you can get at that time. I had Comet and Meteor Rain at that time. Excuse me again. One more time. There you go. I one-shot every boss for the first half of the game. One-shot every single boss. And that's my anecdote. And that's like, again, in the rule book of Ouija, the big rule book of Ansem. That's where I get like a lot of my grinding from, is from Final Fantasy VII and Pokemon. Lego Star Wars versus Lego Lord of the Rings. As Lego Lord of the Rings is my favorite of the entire series of Lego games, and I did want him to put a Lego game on here because I do feel like Lego games, like a Lego game belongs in the top 100 games of all time. I do. Absolutely. And I think it would actually be Lego Star Wars that belongs there, because as a saga, as 9 games in a row, like, and especially having 9 games on one disc, like, how cool is that? How many characters are in that? How diverse is your playing style? Whether you're playing as, you know, a lightsaber user, as a gun user, or as a gonk droid, or, you know, any multitude of people that this game has. I just believe, and always have believed, that out of every game, like, if you're going to recommend a game that you and your friend, or that somebody and their friend want to play, that you don't know anything about them, you don't know their play style or anything like that, Lego Star Wars, they'll always have fun with. Like, always. That was a game that we recommended at GameStop, like, nonstop. Original Sonic versus Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic is hard because I've never been good at Sonic games ever. I beat original Sonic a lot, like when I was 25, I think. And Sonic Adventure 2, I beat on the GameCube, just because I really like that game a lot. But if I had to pick between the two, I honestly go with like original Sonic, like as a music wise and gameplay wise, and like, I don't know, just Original Sonic is just so good. Now, Sonic Adventure 2 had like the cool mech missions and driving missions, and like it had variety. But what was the best part of Sonic Adventure 2? There were two best parts. One, every mission that you got to play. Well, actually, we're gonna go with three best parts. Three best parts. Every mission, first and foremost, every mission that you got to play as Sonic and Shadow, 100% are the best part of the game. Two, my favorite part of the game is playing anything to do with Knuckles. Knuckles is fucking awesome, right? And Knuckles and Rouge, you get to play as them, and they were just like finding the emeralds. It's like a search mission, which is really cool. I like that. And three, it got the fucking Chao Garden. The Chao Garden, if it was just original Sonic versus Chao Garden wins by a landslide. Everybody loves the fucking Chao Garden. You got to pet your Chao. You got to feed it stuff. It got big monkey arms to feed it the monkey. Everybody loves Chao Garden. I don't know why they don't make the new games with the Chao Garden. It's the best part of the game. That's my rant. But I would pick original Sonic on this one. It's just like, this is like, I am taking this as who do I think should win, not what is my favorite. So, original Sonic. Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards, and the Nightmare in Dreamland versus Nightmare in Dreamland. Crystal Shards is my favorite game, favorite Kirby game of all time. I played it earlier this year. It was amazing. I even had my friend play it, my friend Jeremy over at JerBear674. I think that's his Twitch. Yeah. But Kirby 64 is like absolute favorite. But Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland is just so, and the Dreamland series in general is just so like well made and well put together and well designed, and had multiplayer, and overall I think it is a better game, as much as I love the fucking 64 stuff. I wish this was Kirby 64 versus Bomberman 64. I'd have a hard time, but I'd probably go with Kirby 64 just because I like I can remember every single combo move for Kirby 64. Like every single one, right? But that's just saying the amount of times that I've played it. But Nightmare in Dreamland, I think, is just overall like a more influential game and a better experience. Yoshi's Story versus Donkey Kong 64. Donkey Kong 64 is bad. It's just not a good game. They really, really tried to make a Donkey Kong version of Mario 64, and they really failed. Now, don't get me wrong, it's so cool that you can play as everybody in the list, and Donkey Kong 64 has some of like amazing, like the Donkey Kong rap is in it, right? And that's great and all. But Yoshi's Story was like took Yoshi and made him his own like full-fledged character. Like, yes, we had Yoshi's Island beforehand, but seeing it in quote unquote 3D, even though it's a side scroller, was just a very different experience for me. I would go Yoshi's Story for this one, but I know it's not going to outbeat Donkey Kong 64 because people are going to be like, the DK, Donkey Kong, he's the leader of the bunch. He knows them well. He's finally back to kick some tail. So if I'm going to bet on which one would win, it'll be Donkey Kong 64. Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time versus Star Fox 64. Again, this is another thing where he fucking pit two radically different games against each other. So you're picking against apples and fucking bananas. And it's wild. It's wild. I told him not to do this. But both games are great. Star Fox 64 is great. Prince of Persia is great. I played both of them I should say I played Star Fox 64 to oblivion. I even, like, last year, during Extra Life, me and Jeremy like almost beat the game. Speaking of which, I'm pretty sure that the song that's playing right now is it's Star Wolf's song. Yeah, okay. But which one should win? Honestly, probably Star Fox 64. There's not a lot of games that are like that anymore. It reminded me of Ikaruga back in the day, which should be on this list as well. Like Metal Slug or Ikaruga should be on this list, but I don't know if it will be. But I love Prince of Persia, and I hope that when they make that remake, which they should have been out an eon ago, that it's good, and I'll play it. But I think Star Fox wins this one. It's hard though. Pokemon Snap versus Pokemon Stadium. He literally put 2 Pokemon games that have nothing to do with each other other than the fact that they're Pokemon. You can't pit Pokemon Snap versus Pokemon Stadium. You just can't. And he did. Who's gonna win? Who the fuck knows? Both of them are good. Pokemon Snap is like it was the first game where you just take pictures. Like that's all you do. You just take pictures of stuff. Like how great was that? Pokemon Stadium is a fighting game. It's a one-on-one fighting game. Or the the best mini game in Pokemon Stadium, which is the fish flop one. So good. Or the Lickitung one. So Pokemon Stadium is huge. I hate that I have to choose between the two because there isn't a choice. There's no choice here. Because it's 2 different types of games. Just because it has Pokemon in it doesn't make them any different types of like the same game. I'd probably have to go Stadium because it's just more Pokemon. It's more Pokemon and not just Pokemon gimmick. Like, don't get me wrong, but Pokemon Snap is Pokemon gimmick. Pokemon Stadium is Pokemon. And I love Pokemon Snap. I mean, shit. Like, I beat that game like hundreds of times. My brother and I used to speed run it. Like, we'd beat it in under 2 hours, like, type thing. Or our definition of speedrun, which is just doing it faster than the other person can do it. So, Pokemon Stadium. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 versus Need for Speed Underground. I wish that he had thrown out Need for Speed Underground and put Forza in here, because I think that this is insane. Nobody knows Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. Fever of Alava. Like, nobody knows this stuff. This is just games that he and I were really into when we were kids. Like, when I was at home. We had a freaking stick, a flight stick that we would use for Need for Speed because it felt better because you had like a throttle on one side and a brake on the stick, and I'd go for Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 if I had to pick between the two. It also had a cool cop mode, which is why they showed it on the thing, where one of you would be a cop and the other and like call in assistance. You could call in another cop car or a helicopter to drop things on the person, or spike strips, or all that stuff. I thought that was cool. Also, that's where the 360 Spider was from, the car. Yeah, and Underground's great. Like, Underground, like, you were allowed to, like, roam. It was almost like a free roam game, right? Then it was just like a racer. But, I don't know. I'd pick Hot Pursuit. This is a fucking another one. I told him not to put this on there. This could have been swapped out for fucking Sekiro versus Bloodborne, which should be, if Sekiro and Bloodborne are not on this list, I specifically told him to put Sekiro and Bloodborne on this list, and I told him to put them against each other, because that's hard, and they're both good games, and they're both similar games, but he put fucking Wave Racer 64 and Diddy Kong Racing up in here. It's Wave Racer 64. Who knows what that is? No one knows what that is. This is another game where no one knows what it is. Diddy Kong 64. They tried to make another version of Mario Kart, so they made Diddy Kong Racing. That's all they did. And I like it. And I played this Toad character in his little airplane a lot. Who plays Wave Racer? Yes, exactly. And that's where our memories are from too, is from renting it, right? Like not playing it. We didn't play the game. We rented it because it was the only thing at Blockbuster. We have South Park: The Stick of Truth versus South Park 64. Again, another two set of games that shouldn't be pit against each other, and South Park 64 should probably not even be in this list. South Park 64 is a first-person shooter, quote-unquote, where you played as the other guys and defeated aliens coming to your town. South Park: The Stick of Truth is an RPG, which is actually really well made. If you ever want like a game that doesn't take itself seriously, but that's an RPG, South Park: The Stick of Truth is the game for you. Especially if you like crude humor and stuff. So we're going to go with South Park: The Stick of Truth on this one. Insane. The Last of Us series versus Destiny. Again, two very different games. One third-person shooter, one first-person shooter, one looter shooter, and one story-based shooter. One game, look at this. This is insane. One game that has an incredible story. And one game that has no story. Yeah, I know. And I sank hundreds, like probably thousands of hours into Destiny. And I just replayed Last of Us Part 1. I just replayed it. And I'm super excited for whatever Last of Us comes out, multiplayer, whatever it may be. If I had to pick between the two, like this is hard, like to pick between the two. Last of Us will always be in my top 10 games of all time. Last of Us 1, specifically. Will always be in my top 10 games of all time. Again, that's another game that really, like, influenced, like, games that I play. Destiny was a game I played with, like, my friends. Like, my friends played this game. And it was a time that I spent a lot of time with my friends playing Destiny. This one is actually probably harder than most of the things in this list. I'd probably go with The Last of Us, just because of the story. Like sure, Destiny has a little bit of a story. It's like really put together by scissors and glue, right? Like popsicle sticks and tape. But like the gunplay is where Destiny thrives. Gunplay in the multiplayer, right? And raids. That's where that game thrives. But it gets old, right? And the Last of Us series, like, sure, like, you play it once, and it's not that it loses its charm or whatever, but it becomes... I'm trying to think of these games, like, in this term, is what is more influential and what has longevity, right? Destiny has always had longevity. Destiny, no matter how long after you drop it, it feels good picking it back up again. The grind is the worst part. The grind fucking sucks. And The Last of Us is like, again, like a heart, like my heart like wants to go with The Last of Us, but I know that if we're talking about games that are going to be on the top of this list, it's hard. Like, you know what? I'm going with The Last of Us. That's my final answer. Because I keep going back to Last of Us. I keep going back to The Last of Us multiplayer. I keep wanting to play it. I keep wanting to talk about it. We're going to say Last of Us. This is probably the hardest thing that I've had to choose between in this list. Exactly. Makes you think hard. It's important. Like this is an important question, right? Like Mega Man 1 through 10 versus Mega Man X 1 through 6. Destiny is like a slot machine. Sometimes it's really good, really, really good. Every raid I've ever done has felt good, but doing the same mission over and over again to make sure that I get gear is not fun. Mega Man 1 through 10 versus Mega Man X 1 through 6. I suck. Absolutely suck at Mega Man games other than Battle Network. Mega Man games have always been super hard for me. No matter whether I have like 100 lives with a chance to restart or whatever, boss fights in Mega Man have just always been hard. It doesn't matter whether it's Mega Man 1 through 10 or X, right? But Mega Man 1 through 10 just has that charm of being a hard platformer, right? Like the platforming in it is fair enough. Nothing is pixel perfect, but it's hard. And I don't know, like I've watched too many speedruns of Mega Man games than Mega Man X games, right? We're gonna go with Mega Man 1 through 10 here. Though I love the fact that in Mega Man X, like in the games for Mega Man X, you can play as Zero, and Zero is so cool. Zero is cooler than Mega Man in every way. So, Counter-Strike versus Half-Life. 2 different games, one single player, one multiplayer. Counter-Strike has a big cult following and has, lots of stuff. Has what's it called? Like competitions, right? CS:GO. Half-Life also has a cult following, never coming out with a third one. Yeah, I don't know. This one's tough, but I think if I had to pick, I'd probably go Half-Life. Just more well-known. Portal 2 versus Borderlands 2. He put these together because they have the words 2 in them. Borderlands 2 is the best of the Borderlands series, in my opinion. A lot of people are saying that Tiny Tina's Wonderland is actually really good. Should have been Borderlands 2 versus Destiny. 100%. No doubt about that one. Zero doubt about that one. I probably would have picked Destiny over Borderlands 2 if that was a thing. But here we have Portal 2 versus Borderlands 2. Again, Borderlands is good, but it's Portal 2. You don't lose to Portal 2, right? Portal 2 is just so another icon of a video game. Portal 2 is in a lot of people's like memories of playing games with like that. Portal 2 was a game that you started your friends playing multiplayer together, seeing if you could solve puzzles and stuff. Portal 2 is where you put a portal under your friend because the other portal's on top of the water. Right? What? You're so interesting. This is interesting to watch. I'm only half listening, but I keep hearing frustrations. Yeah, I'm frustrated because he keeps pitting games against each other that have nothing to do with each other. And yeah, it would be different if the entire list was randomized, but it's not. You put Zelda games with Zelda games, you put Mario games with Mario games, but now you put Last of Us versus Destiny, which it should have really been a cover-based shooter versus a cover-based shooter. Last of Us versus Gears of War, Last of Us versus Uncharted. But you don't. You have Last of Us versus a first-person shooter that has no... Again, it's like apples. A lot of these are like apples and bananas. Nothing to do with each other. One's yellow, is long. One's a circle, that's round. But we have Portal 2 versus Borderlands 2. I'm going to go with Portal 2. Portal 2 is like memories right there. Assassin's Creed Black Flag versus Assassin's Creed 2. See, this is fine. Because these are good Assassin's Creed games. These are good games that complement each other. They're in the same universe, or they're in the same game type. Pit these ones against each other. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Neither of these are actually my favorite. Assassin's Creed 2 Revelations is my favorite Assassin's Creed game. And I also really like Assassin's Creed Origins, even though that game is kind of not good. But in these two, I'd probably go with Assassin's Creed 2. It added multiplayer. It added a lot of like cool mechanics. Black Flag's cool because it gave you a gun, which is nifty, and it gave you a ship. But then the ship stuff the ship combat is probably the best part of that game by far. And he's not really an assassin. He's just kind of like a dude that got a boat and a cloak. Like, it's so funny. At the beginning of the game, like, you're just a dude on a beach that got marooned. There you go. And he comes across as an assassin trying to open a box and kills him and takes his clothes, right? So, yeah. But Assassin's Creed 2 is what I would pick. Elden Ring versus Red Dead Redemption 2. I have a spot for both, right? Because Elden Ring I played earlier this year. It was my in terms of streaming, like streaming video games, it's probably the most I've worked, the hardest I've worked on a streamed video game. I was diligent. I worked hard. I did the game in my way, nobody else's way. I did it in my way, and I mean, for hard stuff in that game, I had a support group, right? So that like hits home. Elden Ring will always hit home for me. Not in my top 10 games of all time. Not even in my top 20 games of all time. Maybe in top 50, but I could think of others. Red Dead Redemption 2 is just huge. Like it started a big. It started like the craze with the Wild West. Like so many companies like started doing Wild West stuff after Red Dead Redemption. And Red Dead 2, like, again, like I don't know how to put it into words, but it was just so like influential. And it came from Rockstar, right? Like GTA going to Red Dead, like, yeah. If I having to pick between the two, I think that it's got to go to Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring will be higher up on this list than Red Dead Redemption 2 will be. Though I think more people have played Red Dead Redemption 2 than Elden Ring. But I just think that Elden Ring would be on the list. Skyrim versus Unreal Tournament, another two games that he has put together that have nothing to do with each other. He should have put Fallout 3 or Fallout series versus the Oblivion series. That's what he should have done, and he didn't do it. So, as much as I love Unreal Tournament, it's not good. Not a good game. Not a good series. Unreal Tournament 2 was probably as good as the series got, and then has petered off. Now they're coming out with new ones, but if we're talking about top 10 games of all time, it's Skyrim. Skyrim is just easy. Yep, I agree. It's just easy. It's almost too easy. Minecraft versus SimCity. See, now he put fucking SimCity. I don't understand why he didn't put Roller Coaster Tycoon versus SimCity. There's another easy one. What is more influential? Minecraft. Minecraft is everything. It's great. SimCity did up cool stuff, right? It started off like this, or it started off like the 3D Sim stuff that wasn't like what was that game? It was called Utopia, I think was the first Sim game. But SimCity like started off like your own city builder. But it's Minecraft. You don't fight Minecraft. I have a feeling that Minecraft will be in top 10. Minecraft will probably be in top 10. Minecraft. Jackbox versus Wii Sports. Again, another set of games that don't have anything to do with each other. Wii Sports, the most owned game of all time. Because the Wii was one of the most sold consoles, right? And it came with every Wii. So Wii Sports was influential for that reason. Jackbox is an amazing party game that has rocked the internet. The fact that you can play it with stream and with people over Discord or whatever is like huge for, especially during COVID. During COVID, like Jackbox exploded. It was big beforehand, but like COVID really like made Jackbox and oh my god, if Among Us is on this list too, like it should be. It's a huge influential game that did a lot of things, but it probably won't be on this list because my brother doesn't know what Among Us is. But I go with Wii Sports. Probably Wii Sports. Just too important, I think. Dance Dance Revolution versus Just Dance. It's easy for me, man. Dance Dance Revolution is just... That's when you go to an arcade. If you don't see a Dance Dance Revolution machine, you leave the arcade. Even if you're not planning on playing it, you just straight up leave the arcade. Just Dance is great. Great game for party and friends and stuff, but Dance Dance Revolution is revolutionary. That's all it is. This is another one that I knew he would put in, but again, not sure if either of them belong in this list. Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer versus Star Wars Rogue Squadron, which, by the way, he put Star Wars V. We're just going to nitpick him into oblivion, by the way. Star Wars Racer versus Rogue Squadron. honestly, like, Rogue Squadron is too good, right? Like, Racer is great, sure, but Racer didn't do anything. Racer never did anything, and Rogue Squadron did, so we're gonna go with Rogue Squadron. And when we're saying did anything, I'm talking about, like, added things to, like, gaming as we know it. But I guess this is, like, a best games of all time list. I still go with Rogue Squadron. You can play as the fucking Y-Wing. How cool is that? Star Wars The Fallen Order versus Knights of the Old Republic. Again, two games that the only thing that are similar in these games is the word Star Wars. Yep, that's it. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a Souls-like game. And Knights of the Old Republic is essentially an RPG, like a turn-based RPG. What are we going with, though? We're going with Knights of the Old Republic. It's like... Did I just lose frames? Looked like I lost frames for a second. Don't do that to me, game. Knights of the Old Republic is important. The remake is going to be important. The game's important. I think that a lot of other games took from that game. I think a lot of people have it as their cult classic that they go to every once in a while. When it got released on the Switch, it was like the highest selling Switch game for like 2 months. So we're going to go with Knights of the Old Republic. Even though Star Wars Fallen Order is a great game. It is beautiful. If you get to watch a stream of it, watch it. It's fantastic. It also has a really cool twist. Bonus round? What does that mean, bonus round? Cuphead versus Metal Slug. Two games that have nothing to do with each other. I love Metal Slug, but Cuphead wins this one easy. Cuphead became a cult classic immediately. Like, as soon as the game came out, it became a cult classic. And we just finished the DLC this week, right? The DLC just made the game better, in my opinion. Just made it better. Metal Slug is great. It's great at an arcade. It was great with friends and stuff, but that side-scroller stuff, like, it should have been, like, Double Dragon or something like that versus Metal Slug. But Cuphead wins this one. Max Payne versus Enter the Matrix. He put Enter the fucking Matrix in here because he played that game when he was a kid. The game is not influential whatsoever. Is not good either. It's not a good game. Max Payne, however, good game, good series, good everything. It was really good. It also it helped vamp up the Hitman series. So I'm gonna give it to Max Payne. God, he fucking did with Ghost and who was the other guy? Ghost and I forgot. Is she Ghost or he Ghost? I don't remember. One of them is Ghost, and their ship was the Nebuchadnezzar. Was it the Nebuchadnezzar? Fuck me, I don't remember. Tomb Raider versus Spyro. You know that this is closer. This is a closer thing. We're taking in the Tomb Raider series now. Are we talking about the classic Tomb Raider series or the new ones? Because the new ones are really good. For Spyro, are we talking about the GBA Spyros? Or are we talking about the side-scroller Spyros? Or are we talking about the 3D ones? Like, that's all. Like this is like when we say series, like, we're taking in the entire thing. I would go with Tomb Raider for this one. As much as I love Spyro, like, Spyro's the PlayStation's answer to Banjo-Kazooie. And, you know, that's dope, right? But it should have been Spyro versus Banjo-Kazooie. That would have been a very different discussion. But, yeah, I'd go Tomb Raider here. Especially the new Tomb Raider games are just so good. They're so well made. I told him to put this in. Because think about the amount of people that have played Minesweeper, or the amount of people. Spyro didn't age well. I mean, I think Spyro aged fine, in my opinion. The new trilogy is really well made. So, but Minesweeper versus Microsoft Pinball, like, everybody fucking played Microsoft Pinball, right? Everybody played Minesweeper. Like, Solitaire also belongs in this list too, right? I would honestly go with Minesweeper just because it's more of a game. than pinball is. Pinball sometimes just fucks you, right? And yeah, Minesweeper does fuck you too. Like you'll instantly click and get a bomb, but like on a regular basis, you actually have something to work with in Minesweeper. Sometimes you just get unlucky in pinball, and it just like goes straight through your flippers. Yeah, so we're gonna go with Minesweeper. Beat Saber versus Pistol Whip. Well, this is easy because it is Beat Saber. Beat Saber does win. Beat Saber is just amazing. Pistol Whip is great. Don't get me wrong, because having the guns and like doing the shoot, like the shoot motion to your the beat of the song that's playing is really cool. I hope one day I can get a VR unit like that I can hook up for stream. But Beat Saber is just so good. Like my mother plays Beat Saber. Like how cool is that? Hades versus Monster Hunter. Again, another two games that have nothing to do with each other. Hades is a roguelike, and Monster Hunter is a RPG. Hades was fantastic last year when was it last year or the year before that Hades came out? 2 years ago. Hades came out 2 years ago. Hades like took the world by storm. Hades started this big resurgence back into roguelikes because it was such an accessible roguelike. And Monster Hunter is so versatile, right? Every Monster Hunter game has its own gimmick. Monster Hunter World is so well made and feels good every time I play it. Every weapon, even ones that I don't know how to play, feel good. The interactions you have with the monsters feel good. Again, as I'm picking between apples and bananas here, I'd probably go with Monster Hunter as a series over Hades. But don't get me wrong, like these two shouldn't be pitted against each other. Hades would win against so many other things on this list. Devil May Cry series versus Castlevania series. This is an okay pairing. Hades is on more people's top 10 of all time. I'd agree because it's accessible. Accessibility is important. Hades made roguelikes and roguelites accessible for players. Because roguelites aren't accessible. They never have been. You die and you lose everything. Like, that's not great accessibility. But, like, Spelunky's a roguelike, right? But you die and you start fresh. You don't bring anything from round to round. You are not stronger than you were in the previous run. No matter how much you play. But Hades, like, gave you that sense of being strong. Like, the first time I ever played, I got through 6 rooms, right? 6 rooms, and then I died. Then I got a little bit stronger, and I got through 10 rooms. And then I got a little stronger, and I got to the boss fight. And then I got a little bit stronger, and then I got halfway through the boss fight. And just, you progressively got better because not only did you understand the game better, but you got more, you dealt with more. And you had more at hand. And that's actually it's funny that we'll go back. It's funny that we talk about Hades though, because that's another rule that I have is when a game is hard and is hard because you start off weak, I feel the need to beat as far as I can with that weak state. Now for Hades, I did upgrade my character, right? I got more depth defiances and so on and so forth, but I only used the base sword. I didn't use anything else but the base sword until I beat Hades himself. Which a lot of people didn't do. A lot of people beat it with the shield because you can block. A lot of people beat it with the bow because you can stay far away. But I beat it with the sword because I felt like that was my most authentic experience. But yeah, I'd agree with you that Hades will probably win out Monster Hunter, but I'd pick Monster Hunter here. Devil May Cry vs. Castlevania. I think I'd go with Castlevania. Just because the amount of variety that Castlevania games have. Devil May Cry is awesome, right? Like, Devil May Cry and Bayonetta and all of those like high action, high octane kind of games like are really fun, really cool. But Castlevania is just like classic hard, classic boss battle, very Mega Man-esque. So, Castlevania. I told him to put this on here. Metal Gear Solid 3 versus Metal Gear Solid 4. I love Metal Gear Solid 3 and 4. Both of them are so good. But there is one particular reason why I have to pick 4 over 3. And it's dumb. But I'll tell you, I really like 3. 3 had some of the most versatile boss fights in any Metal Gear game ever. You had a boss fight where you could literally wait out the boss for 2 weeks and the boss would die. He would die in the game. He'd die. And you could just move on, right? You had a boss fight where you could feed the enemy rations and lower his stamina. Like you discarded rations on the floor and he would eat them. And if they were spoiled, he'd lose stamina. How cool of mechanics is that? Like some of the cool stuff that you can do in Snake Eater is just so cool. The story's also so beautiful, so well done. It also has the best song, the best original video game song of all time, which is Snake Eater. But Metal Gear Solid 4, there's a reason why it beats Metal Gear Solid 3, and it's not for a reason that anybody will think. The cutscenes in Metal Gear Solid 4 are so well made that the game is more movie than it is a game. It had the record. I think it still has the record for the longest cutscene of all time. I don't remember if it's skippable or not, but it is the longest cutscene of all time at 1 hour and 37 minutes. The boss fights are incredible. The characterization is amazing. The one thing I hate about both of these games is the womanization that they have. But Metal Gear Solids have always had this kind of like womanizing like undertone to them. Like, you know, the character, he goes like, I never forget an ass. And like, you know, that's kind of fucked up. But yeah, so, but Metal Gear Solid 4, I think is more, I have a lot of praise for Metal Gear Solid 4. Even story-wise, I think that it was probably the most convoluted, but like the most easy to digest because of those cutscenes that made it just easier to digest. But yeah. This is another one that my brother had to include because he used to play SSX Tricky all the time. He actually didn't know another He actually didn't know another snowboarding game to pit against it. And I made a joke that we'd put Snowboard Kids in there. But for me, it was between 1080 Snowboarding, Steep, and what's his name? Something White, snowboarding guy. Not Jack White. I don't remember what his name, but he had a video game as well. But SSX Tricky is just, everybody knows SSX Tricky and PS2 days. Like, it was a pretty great game. You can go Shaun White. There you go. Boom. Thank you. It clicked immediately as soon as you wrote it. But yeah, SSX Tricky is just like kind of like the quintessential snowboarding game when you think of snowboarding games from back in the day. Plants vs. Zombies vs. Angry Birds. I always really enjoyed both of the strategies and you know that they both employ. But one game really does take the cake. Like, Angry Birds was such a big hit, cult phenomenon. It was cheap. It was like $4.99 on your phone. You always had it. People were playing it in class in my school. We even went to a place called Top Golf that was just had like an Angry Birds game on it. And Angry Birds also Angry Birds is not my favorite of the series because my favorite of the series is actually Bad Piggies, where you were the pigs trying to steal the eggs, but you had to make like a contraption out of, you know, wood blocks or rockets or engines or balloons and stuff. and I thought that's just the engineering bringing in me was like so happy. Yeah, but I do like Plants vs Zombies, and I really like the direction that Plants vs Zombies went as becoming a hero shooter. I think that was really cool. And it made a kid's version of a hero shooter, and it made it really well that even adults could like play and really get into. Angry Birds. Twisted Metal series versus Excitebike. This is another one that the only reason why they're pitted against each other is because they both have wheels. Speaking of which, by the way, Axel's the character I used to play. I think he was also designed after Vin Diesel, if I remember correctly. This is hard too, because like nobody plays Excitebike, right? Like you don't play Excitebike, or you just play it for like the gimmick of Excitebike. But people really like Twisted Metal, right? Like people really want it to come back. People are waiting for the series to come back, and even there's two TV shows in development, or was it a movie and a TV show for Twisted Metal? And Twisted Metal thrived in the multiplayer and not the single player. Like I watched my friend again, Jeremy, play Twisted Metal the single player. It's shite, man. It's just so bad. But the multiplayer is like really good. Twisted Metal. Duck Hunt versus Frogger. They're all tough. All these are tough, and most of these are tough because these are things that I came up with. But I'd go with Duck Hunt. It was the first game where you like had a gun. You shot the screen. How many times did you go up to the screen and shoot it point blank because you really needed to get the duck, right? Like, how cool was that? Frogger's great for like a high score type of thing. Yeah, the light gun is so cool. It's still so cool. Like, think about the Wii. Think about the Wii, right? The Wii came out and we were like, oh my god, how cool is it that I can see my thing on the screen? They had done it already. With Duck Hunt. They did the light gun with Duck Hunt. They did it before. They had the technology years and years ago. Duck Hunt. Yeah, Duck Hunt. The Doom series versus Diablo series. Guess what? The only reason why these are pitted against each other because they start with a D. Well, at what point do I drink myself into a coma here, right? Like, Doom started off the first-person shooter strong. Diablo, essentially it was kind of the first almost D&D like RPG out there. And you know, getting people that weren't into D&D but were into gaming into Diablo, that was like their intro way into being into D&D. But Doom is so iconic, as again another iconic, and we're talking about all series, right? And so in terms of series, like Doom 2018, was it 2018 2017? 2016, Doom 2016, there you go. Doom 2016 was huge. I mean, it was nominated for so many Game of the Year. Just the music alone was amazing. I'm gonna have to give it to Doom as a series. I think if it was just Doom versus Diablo, maybe Diablo would kick it, but like Doom as a series, it's just better. Also, I hate Blizzard. Uncharted series versus Shadow of the Colossus. What? Uncharted versus Shadow of the Colossus? Do you see this? This is the sword. The sword has decided. You're damn right it's decided. Now we're gonna have a real discussion real quick. Uncharted will probably win, right? Just because it's Uncharted, right? It has a movie series. It's got or a movie. It's got multiple games. It's got multiple heavy hitting characters. It's got an entire legacy behind it, even though it says Lost Legacy right there. Uncharted will probably win, but I can't tell you how much that Shadow of the Colossus has done for me. Yeah, it has more name recognition by far. And I mean, like, I'll just say that, like, Uncharted 2 is, like, definitely in my top 20 games of all time. And you know, but it's just that way, right? But Shadow of the Colossus is my favorite game of all time. It has done an incredible amount for me as a gamer, and for me as, like, what I like about video games. It's where I got, like, my love of puzzles from, but, like, engaging puzzles. It's where I got my love for level design and music and everything. Like, it's, yeah, I can't, that, I'm picking the wrong option, but Shadow of the Colossus is what I would deem as, like, a top 20 game of all time. But it will lose, and I will be heartbroken because he put it against Uncharted. Yep. The Mass Effect series versus God of War series. Again, are we including Mass Effect, like, Andromeda? Are we including God of War 2018? Are we including the God of War that's going to come out, like, in 2 months that I'm going to take a week off to play? Speaking of which, if you are here, I'll be taking off the day of God of War. And we're going to be playing it for an entire week. I'm going to probably play like 15 to 16 hours a day. And yeah, so it'll all be here on stream. I'll stream it all, and it'll be great. I'm very excited. Both series are hard because God of War is a hack and slash, right? And Mass Effect is an RPG. God of War is probably a name that more people know. Mass Effect is a name, right? But since God of War 2018 exists and Mass Effect Andromeda was thrown into the ether, I think that God of War is probably going to take that. In terms of games that I like more, Mass Effect 2 is probably the best in the series. But God of War has always been a lot more to me than Mass Effect has been. So I'm going to go with God of War. Animal Crossing versus Pac-Man. What the fuck? What the fuck? I told him specifically to put Animal Crossing versus Stardew Valley. I told him specifically to put Animal Crossing versus Stardew Valley, and he's like, I've never heard of Stardew Valley. I said, you don't have to hear about a game. That's just what you need to do, is put... Because they're both no fun? I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. People like Animal Crossing. I'm going to pick Animal Crossing for this. More people know Pac-Man, but Animal Crossing is a better game than Pac-Man. I just think that it's wild that this is the choice that you've been given. You're given fucking Shadow of the Colossus versus... I'm not going back to that. We're gonna pick Animal Crossing just because what Animal Crossing New Horizons has done for the Nintendo community in the last 3 years. It's definitely been the monkey paw that everybody asked for. They're like, I wish I had time to play Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing requires so much time. I wish I had time to play Animal Crossing. And then COVID hit. Nice job, you Animal Crossing people. You caused COVID. Moving on. I love Pac-Man, by the way. I actually prefer not Pac-Man, but there's a gum stopper version of Pac-Man. Yeah, but it's Pac-Man. Horizon Zero Dawn versus Horizon Forbidden West. I can't actually make this decision because I haven't played Forbidden West, and I haven't looked at anything for Forbidden West because it's back there waiting to be played. Speaking of which, I have made a pact with myself that as soon as the new PlayStation controller that's the customizable one comes out, the first game I'm going to play is Forbidden West. So, the reason why I haven't played it is because my thumbs just get too tired if I'm clicking in the stick over and over and over again. So, I can't really make this decision, so I'm just going to fuck it and say Horizon Forbidden West is probably better than Zero Dawn. He put down Horizon Zero Dawn. It says it, Dawn. He didn't read. It says Dawn on the picture. He didn't read. I'm going to assume Forbidden West is better than Dawn because it's just got more. I just hear it has more. It's just more Horizon. He did it. He fucking did it. He said, this wasn't on the list, but he did it. He fucking put Sekiro versus Bloodborne. Let's go. What's better, Sekiro or Bloodborne? Who wants to put it in the chat? Which one's better? I want to know what people say before I say anything. I'm going to describe both games. It's both Souls-like games. When you die, you lose your stuff. You got to go back to go get it. Bloodborne is like eldritch horror, where you are in like a essentially a post-apocalyptic, nightmarish, what's it called, town? Old English town. Trying to beat beasts away. The major mechanic in Bloodborne is if you get hurt, if you attack, you gain health back. It's called a rally mechanic. Really cool. Really fucking cool. You also have a gun. And the gun parries things. And then you got Sekiro. Sekiro. Another Souls game made by the same company. When you die, you don't technically drop your stuff. You just get half of it. But Sekiro, the major combat is that you can beat enemies in two different ways. You can either deplete their health and then go for a death blow, or you can deplete their posture and then go for a death blow. You can also deplete their posture by either attacking or by deflecting at the right time. This is easy for me because Sekiro is like in my top 10 games of all time by far. I would give this a Sekiro. I plan on playing through Sekiro again on stream. I really want to play it with Tyler, but Tyler's busy, and that makes me sad. But maybe one day, Tyler. If you're watching this, Tyler, know that I literally cannot wait to play Sekiro with you. Also, Bloodborne has a multiplayer mode, which is really cool. Sekiro does not have any multiplayer. Were there any games that you would have liked to see that I didn't add? Anybody? Get the app. What app? You can't actually use Instagram from a website? Wow, okay. Never mind. Let's see. This list is void. The best 2 games of all time are not on there. Super Mario RPG and Stardew Valley. Pokemon Go belongs in the conversation. I think we excluded Pokemon Go because it's a phone game. Because it's a what's it called game? V something R? VR? AR. There you go. It's an AR game. I think that's why we excluded it. Super Mario RPG 100% belongs on the list. Stardew Valley 100% belongs on this list as well. I agree. Fully agree. I think Among Us also has its place on this list because it's just, it may not be in the best game of all time, but probably in the top like 100. God, I have so many fucking games that should belong in this list. Phoenix Wright belongs in the, I'm literally just gonna turn around and I'm gonna pick a handful of games. Ghost of Tsushima belongs on this list. Already got Cuphead. I don't actually believe that I don't actually believe that anything else I have back there belongs. Because Uncharted's on this list, Bioshock's already on this list, Gears of War's already on this list. Yeah, I don't know. Like there are so many games that were just missed. In here. Missed. 100% missed. And unbelievable. Like we had Mario Party 1 versus Mario Party 2. We could have had Mario Party versus Super Mario RPG or some shit like that. I cannot believe the amount of crazy games that were missed in here. I gave him so many titles. I'm literally just going to look at... Oh, I think Until Dawn also belongs on this list because it was influential as well. Let's see. Had Bloodborne in there. Well, I like Hunt Showdown, but I don't believe it belongs on this list. I think that Apex would beat that. Persona? Yes, I said Persona. That was something I gave him. I should have fucking recorded everything that we had talked about. Persona should have been on this list. Man, I'm gonna look at my last year's list. Video games 2021. Video games 2020. Titanfall 2 should have been on this list. Dragon Ball Z Fighters was on the list. Undertale 100% be on this list. Yes, I agree with that. Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man should have been on this list. Katamari should have been on this list. That's all from 2020. Where's 2021? 2021. Let's see. We got StarCraft on the list. I like Returnal, but it's not best game of all time. I think Sayonara Wild Hearts actually belongs on this list. Oh, Journey, Dragon Age, Divinity, Original Sin, 100%. Journey belongs on this list. I think, what was that other game that was it Flow? Give me 1 second. I want to look at my Steam library. That's not the right thing. Steam library. Let's see. Among Us, yeah, we talked about that. Counter-Strike we got on the list. I don't know why any Dark Souls game wasn't on the list. We had Sekiro versus what's it called, but Dark Souls 3 is like not on this list. It's wild. We had Destiny on this list. What about Worms? Like, Worms should probably be on this list too. Like, probably Garry's Mod too, because the amount of games that you can make on it. But I don't think Garry's Mod actually counts because you're making the game. So, I don't know about that one. I fucking told him World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14 should have been on this list, and they should have been pit against each other immediately. Metro 2033, like, that was pretty big game too. Like, I don't think it wins, but I mean, it was pretty big. Overcooked, like, Overcooked should have probably been on this list too. But we got, don't worry guys, we got Wave Racer. He almost put Load Runner. Does anybody even here know what Load Runner is? I'm just old. We got Civ in there. Stanley Parable was great too. Like, I don't, again, like, Team Fortress 2? Like, Team Fortress 2? Terraria? Like, Terraria versus Minecraft? Sure. Like, fuck. What about the Walking Dead Telltale games? Are any of the Telltale games? What about Firewatch? Like, there are so many wild games that weren't on this list. Monkey Island? Myst? Who do you think will win out of this list? It's gonna be like, it depends on his, like, you know, voting base, but it'll probably be either GTA 5, Breath of the Wild, Minecraft, League of Legends, or Fortnite, whichever one wins that thing. I'm trying to remember other one. Maybe Ocarina of Time? I don't know. How many of these games have you played? Well, I fucking played so many of them, but I can't vote. I probably would be in this range. I've played too many games to count. Thanks for playing. By the way, feel free to tell all your friends to vote. Well, my friends, you can vote on this. Okay, you. Okay, you. My friends, you can all vote here. Again, I don't know how to, or you can message him or whatever it is here, and it's in his story. But I can't seem to vote on the computer. It looks like I have to have the app, which I don't have the app, so that's over with. But yeah, so that's what I wanted. That's the main thing I wanted to do today. We're gonna play. I'm gonna see if people are playing Hunt Showdown still. People are not playing Hunt Showdown anymore. What are people streaming in here?
The multi Kirby game.
That's not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to go over it. He is streaming. He's streaming, what's it called? Splatoon. Witcher's not on the list. Splatoon 3 is not on the list. I actually do believe that Splatoon deserves to be on this list. Like, there are so many games. Yeah, there's just too many games that deserve to be on the list that weren't on there. And what should have happened, if you ask me, is he should have made an Excel spreadsheet, randomized the numbers, like had each one of them correlate to a number and randomized them. And then you vote that way. That's how you pit them against each other. Then it's random. You don't, either that or he needed to make them be each list, like, yeah, whatever. What's up, Bryce? We just went through my brother's 164 games, top games of all time, of which there were a lot missing. A lot missing. Surprising amount missing, in my opinion. Dude, I don't even know why fucking Matrix is in there. Like, Enter the Matrix, insane that it's in there. Wave Racer, insane. Bomberman GBA, like, what? But hey, like, you know, Witcher doesn't belong to be there, right? Insane. Insane. To pit fucking Uncharted versus Shadow of the Colossus, you can't do things like that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. No Stardew Valley? Wow. And that's the end. Pac-Man versus... Yeah. I have to clip so... I'm going to highlight that entire thing, that entire rant. Last of Us versus Destiny was probably the most fucking wildest shit I've ever seen. What in the fuck? What in the fuck? I'm going to have to, like... Yeah. But yeah, so that's all I really had planned. I was planning on playing some Hunt, but it looks like everybody's off. I might just play solo. Maybe. I could also just shoot the shit for like. You play some Hunt in a bit. Yeah, I mean my friend's gonna be here in a little bit, and so whenever they get here, I'm gonna be hanging out with them. But like, I think I'm gonna throw myself in the Hunt. I'm so worked up about this list. As much as I love, like, it was a joy to assist him in making this list, but I really didn't think that he would do it this way. Like, I really, really didn't think he would do it like that. But he did, so that's that. I'm gonna throw myself into here. Welp. I'm hunting alone. Yeah, so I mean that's gonna be it for that part of the stream. Again, I need to make sure that I clip this entire thing, and I'm gonna throw myself into Hunt Showdown. Because today will be the final day that I get to play the event. The event ends this weekend, and I need to make sure that I stay above the curb. Plus, I also just kind of want to be a cowboy and shoot things. I don't know. What are some things that you guys believe should be on this list? What are some of your top 10 games of all time? What game do you think is going to win? You just spent the last 2 hours with me ranting about this, so I want to know what other people think. You think Minecraft could win? You didn't look at the list. That's fine. Well, I'll tell you something. Super Mario RPG wasn't there. Insane. I think it's really between Breath of the Wild, Minecraft. GoldenEye was on there. Yeah. 007. Breath of the Wild, Minecraft, GTA 5, Skyrim. Yeah, Skyrim was on the list. Something early. It was early in the thing. I want to look at it one more time real quick. I'm gonna fix my mic. And then I'm going to look at the list one more time. There you go. Just really quick, gonna peruse this list. Ping the list again? You got it. If you go to my brother's stories here, it's in his stories. You'll see the 164 video game tournament. None of those. Maybe Super Smash Bros. Melee. Melee might win. Melee or Ultimate. League of Legends or Fortnite, whichever one wins that one will definitely like get really far. Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. Maybe Resident Evil 4. For sure, Kingdom Hearts will be in the top 16, and either whichever one wins the Fallout or Bioshock series will probably be in the top 16. None of those. I don't think that Final Fantasy 7 will be in the top because I think he put the picture of the remake and people will be like, I didn't play the remake. Sadly, none of those will be in it. None of those will be in it. Maybe Pokemon Stadium will be in the top. I can't believe whatever wins between Last of Us and Destiny might be in there. Soul Calibur is in the list, but I don't think it'll be top. It'll get beat out by Marvel vs. Capcom or whatever it was pit against. I think it was pit against was it pit against DOA? No. I'm just running through these really quick. Maybe Elden Ring, but probably not. Red Dead Redemption, probably not. Maybe Hades, we talked about earlier. Maybe God of War as well. God of War or Mass Effect will be in the top 15. And maybe Sekiro or Bloodborne or something. I don't know. By the way, you also noticed there wasn't a single racing game, like a racing game in here. I told him to put Forza and Gran Turismo in here. But again, that was another thing that he didn't do. Okay. Well, I think it's time for me to actually game. Drink and game. Gran Turismo, hands down. Really? I would have said Forza. I would have actually said Forza, the Forza Horizon series as the best racer out there.